So we talked about fungicides and we talked about resistance, and we mentioned that no fungicide is going to give you 100% head scab control. Our best fungicides give you about 50 to 55% control, and our best resistant varieties give you about the same level of control. So what we want to do typically when we think about head scab management is combine the best fungicide with the most resistant variety. So what we did in this trial here, we compared several different fungicide treatments on a variety that's susceptible and on a variety that's resistant. We've got multiple varieties in here, we've got multiple resistant varieties, multiple susceptible varieties. But what I'm going to show you is side-by-side comparisons of these resistant variety, of one of the resistant varieties and one of the susceptible variety with one of the fungicides. In this plot right in front of me here, you've got fairly high levels of head scab. This is a susceptible variety without a fungicide application. If you look at the plot behind me, you've got a resistant variety without the fungicide application. And if you compare these two side by side, clearly resistance alone already helps you to bring down the level of disease considerably. The susceptible variety has a lot of scab in it. The resistant variety has less scab, but it still has some scab. So clearly, you always want to start with your best resistant variety. And like Clay mentioned, we screen these varieties in the scab nursery. We provide you guys with scores for how resistant or how susceptible these varieties are. So when you plant in the fall, you want to start with your best resistant variety because that gives you a head start in terms of head scab control. So when we talk about integrated management, we talk about combining the best resistant variety with the best fungicide. We just looked at susceptible variety without fungicide, resistant variety without fungicide, and now we're going to take a look at susceptible variety with fungicide. And if you compare the susceptible variety with fungicide to the susceptible variety without fungicide, there's clearly a difference in terms of disease control. So again, you're getting some scab reduction with disease control by applying a fungicide to a susceptible variety, especially when you compare it to the susceptible variety without the fungicide. However, you see your best results in terms of scab control and vomitoxin control when we look at this plot here, which is the resistant variety with the fungicide. When you compare the resistant variety with the fungicide to the susceptible variety without the fungicide, the reduction in disease is very substantial. Even when you compare the resistant variety with fungicide to the susceptible variety with fungicide, you still see a significant reduction. When you compare the resistance alone without fungicide to resistance with fungicide, again, you see a substantial reduction in disease and vomitoxin levels. So the take-home message is plant your best variety, resistant variety in the fall. Conditions become favorable for scab in the spring. Use your best fungicides. You see your best results in terms of scab reduction, vomitoxin reduction when you combine the best resistant variety with the best fungicide. And again, if you look at this plot very closely, you can see you still get good leaf disease control. You're not compromising leaf disease control by applying that fungicide to the resistant variety to control head scab.